The championship game came down to one final play, and as Kazu launched himself toward the rim, the gym floor shattered under his feet. The ball snapped through the net, but the sound that followed was wrong. A deep, grinding crack that drowned out the buzzer. Thick fissures raced across the hardwood, glowing with faint embers like dying coals. Finally, free. A crimson light flickered in Kazu's pupils, then spread, staining his irises like ink.
What was that voice? It came from inside my own skull, like claws scraping bone.
The crowd's roar became muffled thunder, unreal and far away, as if heard through water. You are nothing but a vessel, boy. Now sleep while I take back what's mine. Kazu's vision shattered. He hit the wood like dead weight, and the darkness swallowed him whole, and then nothing but the echo of a low, satisfied laugh. Kazu's eyelids dragged open to the sting of fluorescent lights. Every muscle ached as though he'd been pulled apart and stitched back wrong. You can't ignore me, boy. I am not a bad dream you can just shake off. The door creaked. Rina stood in the gap, her face pinched with fear.
Kazu, you are awake. Thank goodness. The way you went down, I thought.
I am fine. Just pushed too hard. Lost my balance.
Lying to your own shadow. How pathetic.
Kazu, we need to know what happened. That floor didn't just crack. It split like an explosion.
I don't know anything. I just jumped, and then everything went dark.
Before the coach could press further, Rina's phone buzzed. The screen lit up with a breaking news alert. High school championship game halted after mysterious court collapse. The first crack in his secret had already spread beyond the gym. Whispers coiled through the hallways. Kazu's name slithered among rumors of the shattered floor. They fear you. Good. Fear is the first taste of power. Practice became a cage. Coach barked orders, but the demon's mocking commentary never paused.
Just a normal dunk. Prove I am still me.
He leapt. The backboard erupted. Glass shards rained down like sharp applause. Teammates scrambled. Kazu remained frozen beneath the shattered frame, staring at his own trembling hands. Oops, that was me. Imagine what else I can make you do.
You are benched, Kazu, until we figure out what's wrong with you.
Kazu didn't argue. He turned and walked away, the crunch of glass under his shoes drowned by the demon's satisfied chuckle. He was becoming a danger to everyone, and he couldn't tell where the monster ended and he began. Rina was already on the rooftop when Kazu climbed the stairs. The sunset bled across her face, but her eyes were sharp, not soft.
You are not yourself, Kazu. The floor, the backboard. I know you are hiding something.
Tell her, and I'll break her neck.
You are imagining things. Just leave me alone.
She reached out, fingers closing around his wrist. For a second, the world held its breath. Then the demon laughed. Kazu's arm snapped back on its own and threw her like a broken doll. Rina hit the concrete, a sharp gasp torn from her throat. She stared up at him, not with anger, but fear. See? You are dangerous. She knows it now. He didn't remember running. Only the slam of the rooftop door behind him and the sound of Rina's sob echoing in the stairwell. The last bridge between him and humanity was crumbling, and the demon held the wrecking ball. He turned to the past for answers, hoping his family's silence hid something more than shame.
There has to be something, some reason this is happening to me.
Buried in a forgotten forum, he found it. A local legend about a wrathful demon sealed inside an infant decades ago. Your great-grandfather put me here. Betrayed his own bloodline to trap me in yours. Fragments of memory surfaced, his mother tucking him in, whispering, "You must never lose control." Her eyes had been filled with fear he never understood. His search narrowed. He pinpointed the ruins of an old family shrine, abandoned for generations, tucked deep in the mountains. Go ahead. Dig through the rot. It won't save you.
I have to try. If there's even a sliver of hope, I owe it to Rina.
By dawn, he was gone. half-empty room left behind and a map leading to rot and ghosts. He would dig up his own grave if it meant freedom from the thing wearing his bones. The shrine waited like a wound in the forest, silent, overgrown, and reeking of old blood. Inside, beneath a fallen beam, he found a rusted box. The diary inside smelled of dust and regret.
We sealed the demon of wrath into the infant to save the village. May the gods forgive us.
The page was accompanied by a crude drawing, a ritual circle, candles, and a child at its center.
Now you understand. You are my prison, boy. And if the cage breaks, I take everything.
Is there any way to remove you without unleashing that?
Remove me. The moment the seal breaks, I'll devour everything you love. That village was just the first course.
The diary's final entry warned that anger, fear, and despair would crack the seal faster than any chisel.
So every time I lose control, I am feeding him, handing him the keys.
He had come seeking freedom, but found only chains, and he was the one holding the lock.
The school's ordering a full physical evaluation. Until then, you are suspended. We can't risk another incident.
Rumors mutated fast, steroids, mental breakdown, a hidden condition. Kazu became a case study in whispers.
They're tearing you apart without lifting a finger. Let me end the humiliation.
The hallway parted for him like he was radioactive.
Kazu, please, just talk to me. We can face this together.
There is no together anymore. Stay away from me. I am not safe.
Her tears were the only sound he allowed himself to hear before the darkness swallowed his footsteps. At night, the nightmare came. A stadium of shattered glass, and Rena screaming beneath crimson claws.
No, stop.
He woke gasping, the demon's laughter still rattling the walls of his skull. Sleep became another battlefield. Without Kazu, the team stumbled through the championship like a body missing its spine. He watched from the farthest bleacher, a ghost haunting his own funeral, invisible to everyone but the voice. Daichi climbed the stands during a timeout, grin already dripping poison, searching for his favorite target.
Look at the bench warmer, cracked the floor, but too scared to even lace up. You are a joke.
Rip his throat out. One snap and he'll never mock you again.
Kazu's fists clenched until his nails bit into the half-healed wounds from before. Blood ran warm between his fingers. He stood up abruptly, eyes flashing something dark, but then he turned and walked toward the exit.
That's right. Run, freak. You don't belong here.
Coward. They'll only get crueler, and next time I won't let you retreat.
Walking away was the hardest dunk he never made, and the demon's hiss of disappointment followed him out. Dusk found him on a park bench, staring at his own blood-crusted palms as if they belonged to a stranger.
I am not leaving, Kazu, not this time.
She sat beside him, unhurried, as if settling in for a storm she refused to let him weather alone.
I read about old protective charms. Made this. It's clumsy, but maybe it can help.
He took the small stitched pouch, and for a breath the demon's voice became muffled, distant, like a scream underwater.
Why? I hurt you. I am a danger to everyone.
Because you are still in there, trying. And I am not giving up on the one person who never gave up on me.
I am terrified of what I might become. Every day, it gets harder to stay me.
Then, let's face it together. Whatever it is.
For that moment, the chains loosened. Even the demon's bitter whisper felt far away. That night, he returned to the shrine, Rena's charm pressed over his heart. By candlelight, he found a hidden passage, a ritual to cage the demon using a protective charm. He drew the symbols on the cold stone, placing the talisman at the center.
You believe that trinket can hold me? Foolish boy.
The talisman blazed white-hot. The demon's shriek tore through the shrine. Kazu's body arched as the seal branded itself onto his soul, but the voice faded, gagged, distant. He collapsed, gasping. The talisman now glowed with a faint, steady light. The diary's final warning read, "The host must confront the demon fully, or become it."
I'll be waiting. Boy, time is always on my side.
He had traded a battle for a war, the championship game. Kazu was back on the court, but the fire in his chest had been replaced by something cold and heavy.
Keep it clean, Kazu. No heroics, just fundamentals.
So he played slow, deliberate, every pivot a fraction too cautious, a shadow of the player who shattered the floor. Daichi burned past him for an easy layup, then another. The scoreboard gap yawned wider. In the stands, Rina pressed her fingers against the charm that matched his own, knuckles white.
You are losing. Let me out, and we'll crush them into dust.
No.
But his fingers trembled on the ball. The talisman against his skin felt like a chokehold. By some ragged miracle, the score crawled back to a fragile tie with 2 minutes left. Every heartbeat was a war, and the demon's voice was drumming louder with each tick of the clock. 8 seconds left. The ball found Kazu's hands like a live grenade. The crowd held its breath.
You are just a fraud, Kazu. That floor cracked because you are weak.
Kazu drove hard. The talisman against his chest flickered, then went dark. The seal gave way.
Finally. Now watch what a real monster can do.
Crimson bled into his irises. His legs coiled with stolen strength, and he launched upward. The dunk came like a meteor. The floor didn't just crack, it cratered, splinters exploding like shrapnel. Screams swallowed the gym. The backboard shattered too late, an aftershock to the catastrophe. Kazu stood in the wreckage, staring at his hands as if they belonged to someone else.
That is the real you, boy. Glorious, isn't it?
He ran, past the frozen teammates, past Rina's outstretched hand, into the dark corridor. The alley swallowed him whole. He slumped against damp brick, gasping, the talisman a dead weight against his chest. The demon's shadow peeled from the wall, taking shape, taller, darker, with eyes like burning coals.
You've seen what happens when you resist. The floor, the backboard, the girl. It always ends the same. So here is the offer. Let me take the wheel. 1 game. I'll crush them, then sleep. You get your life back.
What's the catch?
Your soul carries the blood of whatever I take, but Rina stays safe. A necessary sacrifice.
Is there truly no other way?
None. Time is running out. The authorities will be here soon. Decide.
If I don't, Rina. Everyone. But if I do, what am I then?
The alley was a confessional, and the demon his priest, offering absolution at the cost of damnation. Light cut into the alley. Rina stood panting at the entrance, her silhouette framed by street lamp glow.
Rina, go away. It's not safe here.
I heard everything. That thing is trying to take you. Don't let it.
She knows too much. Now I'll have to silence her permanently.
Kazu threw himself between them, arms wide, a human shield.
I don't care if we lose. I don't care if they ban you from basketball forever. I just want you back. The real you.
She extended her hand toward him, trembling but resolute.
Please, Kazu. Choose me, not that monster.
His gaze darted between her open fingers, still smudged with dirt from making the charm, and the demon's grinning shadow. The demon offered power. She offered salvation, and the choice hung by a thread. Kazu's fingers closed around Rina's hand, threading through hers. The decision was made.
I am done being your puppet.
You'll regret this forever.
The demon lunged, claws outstretched, but the dead talisman blazed to life one final time. Kazu poured his will into the charm. The painted runes split, the leather binding cracked. Then the talisman shattered into white dust. A shockwave of silver light slammed the shadow back with a shriek that rattled the alley walls. Kazu hit the pavement, blood streaming from his nose.
Kazu.
I have to go back. Not to win. Just to finish what I started. As myself.
He struggled upright, legs like water. Rina ducked under his arm and took his weight. He walked back toward the arena, each step heavier than the last. But he wasn't alone anymore. The gym was still a disaster zone. Officials huddled, spectators buzzing, the cratered floor a fresh wound. Kazu limped through the tunnel, Rina a step behind. The murmur died as eyes found him.
Kazu, you are in no condition to...
1/4. Please, I need to finish this. Not for the title, but for everyone I've put through hell.
The coach studied him, saw something raw but human. Then he nodded. The court remained scarred, taped seams of caution, but play resumed under a thick silence.
We do this together. No more solo acts. Just basketball.
He played like a clockwork ghost, slow, deliberate. Every pass, a quiet act of redemption. In the stands, Rina pressed the broken pieces of the charm to her heart and willed him strength. He was no longer the demon. He was the heart, and the game, finally, was his to lose as a human. The clock bled down to 60 seconds. The score was tied, and every breath in the gym trembled on a knife's edge. Kazu drove hard. Daichi met him with a forearm across the chest, a foul that echoed off the rafters.
A little push, and he'd be nothing but a smear. Still, so easy.
But Kazu just climbed to his feet, ice where the fire used to be. He stepped to the line and sank both shots. The net didn't even twitch. Then, in a blur, the other side pushed the ball. Daichi sliced through for an uncontested layup. 8 seconds pulsed on the board. Down by 1, the arena became a single held breath.
Last chance, boy. Give in, or lose everything you've ever clawed for.
I've already won.
The demon fell silent, watching, waiting. But for the first time, it was the prisoner. The inbound pass found Kazu. He dribbled through a collapsing defense, every pivot a snarl of threads he refused to cut. Daichi lunged for the block. Time stretched thin, the crowd's roar dipping into a dull roar.
I am taking over.
Number. We do this my way.
Silver flooded his irises, cool and clean, drowning the crimson beneath. He rose with impossible grace, not a monster's violence, but a warden's authority. The ball kissed the back of the rim and dropped through the net, pure and silent. The buzzer screamed. The scoreboard flipped. Victory. He hung from the iron for a breath, then dropped to the floor that remained whole. No crack, no ruin, only wood. The demon inside him finally awakened, but not as its slave, as its warden. The team detonated around him, a surge of shoulder slaps and wild shouts. Kazu laughed, a broken, honest sound that surprised even himself. Then his knees buckled, and the laugh dissolved into ragged breaths. The world tilted sideways as the celebration turned to panic.
You are a madman, but a hell of a player. Now stay down before you crack something else.
You won this round, boy. But don't think it's over. The cage is just reinforced.
I know, but we're setting the rules now. You are not the one in control.
Interesting.
The door flew open. Rina stood there, her face a wreck of tears and laughter, clutching the broken charm.
You idiot. You incredible, impossible idiot.
I promised I'd come back, and I am not going anywhere.
The game was over, but the real one, the one for his soul, had only just begun. Days later, the gym floor was whole again. Fresh varnish covered the scars, but the memory of the cracks remained. Kazu traced a seam with his shoe, feeling the faint hum of the demon, a muted note, not a scream.
Thought I'd find you here.
It feels different now, like I own it, not the other way around.
They talked about college, about basketball that didn't need breaking, and about the shadow that no longer dictated their steps.
And if it wakes up again?
Then we'll handle it, together. But for now, it's quiet.
He picked up a stray ball, the leather smooth and harmless. He shot, swish. For the first time in weeks, he smiled. A real smile, not a mask. The floor would never crack again. Not because the power was gone, but because he knew how to hold it. They walked toward the river, where the evening sun spilled gold across the water. Their fingers stayed laced, unbroken.
Thank you for not giving up on me. When I was drowning, you kept reaching down.
You gave me a reason not to. I couldn't accept losing the one person who fought hardest for us.
They stopped at the railing, watching the sky bruise into violet. The river whispered past.
The demon's still there, like a sleeping dragon. But now I am the one with the reins, not the fire.
And if it wakes up again?
Then we'll deal with it. Together. No more running.
She turned to him, and in the quiet he leaned in. The kiss was soft, a seal on a new beginning. When they pulled apart, the first stars were waking overhead. Some monsters aren't meant to be slain. They're meant to be understood, and Kazu understood enough to keep walking forward. Late that night, Kazu sat alone by the river, the city lights flickering like distant stars.
We're not done yet, are we?
A faint breath stirred in the back of his skull, a deep, satisfied sigh, not a threat, but an acknowledgement. Kazu's lips curved into a knowing smile. It wasn't fear anymore, it was acceptance. The tiny red ember in his pupil pulsed once, then steadied, no longer a threat but a companion. He had awakened the demon, but more importantly, he had awakened himself. The dark was no longer a cage. It was the canvas on which he would draw his own path. And somewhere deep within, the dragon slumbered, no longer a prisoner, but a partner. But a partner, because Kazu understood now the power was never the enemy. It was how he chose to wield it, and he would wield it with grace,